Hey y'all, welcome back. This video is what I'm calling the Universal Start for all characters, or USAC for short. This video aims to get you ready to make a build from any of the starting classes that is both fun and as spoiler free as possible. And here is how we're going to accomplish that. On each step, I'll show you a map that only has the markers needed to get you from point A to point B, which will allow you to explore without being shown the direct path. Or if you want to get straight to the point, you can follow my avatar taking a direct route to each location. Try and follow along and remember to avoid all of the enemies. And speaking of enemies, I will not show you any bosses or single spawn monsters in this series. Now, you may encounter these bosses on your own, but my video will not warn you about them and it will not show you them either. The same goes for key items along the way. So with all that said, here's what you'll have by the end of this video, which takes about 30 minutes. Your character will have about 90,000 runes to create whatever build you desire, a temporary bleed weapon, and a few sites of grace to help you get around. Lastly, these are the zones we'll be exploring, although not in great detail: Caelid and Limgrave. So with all that rigmarole out of the way, let's get started. First, let's get your transportation, which requires you to visit 3 different sites of grace to unlock. Note that the first step site of grace does not count towards the 3 graces you'll need. You can visit any site you find, but I've marked some of the easier ones on this map, so feel free to pause and explore this path for yourself and click on the next chapter when you have your mount. Or you can follow along my direct route to each site of grace. Either way, I'll see y'all when we have our multi-legged friend. Congratulations, Torrent is now yours. Let's move on to the next step, which is getting yourself a bleed weapon. A few notes here. The Samurai and Bandit class already start out with bleed weapons being the Uchigatana and the Great Knife respectively. So if you happen to choose one of those 2 classes, great, you can skip this entire step. But if you didn't choose one of those classes, maybe you picked an astrologer or a warrior, I've marked on the map a few of the easier bleed weapons that I'm going to show you how to get. Oh, and don't worry if your character doesn't have the stats required to use these weapons right away. We'll take care of that later in the video. So in my opinion, the easiest one to get to is, simply enough, the Flail. It's right outside the gate front ruins in a treasure chest, just waiting for you to come pick it up. Or you can head to the Death-Touched Catacombs for the Uchigatana. Now, this one is a bit of a journey. We'll start at the Gatefront Ruins site of grace, grabbing both the Stormhill and Warmaster's Shack site of grace along our way to the catacombs. Once inside, feel free to complete and explore the dungeon, or just follow my direct path to the Uchigatana. Now that we have a bleed weapon, we're almost ready, but we need one more thing. The golden pickled Fowl foot, which increases the number of runes you get by 30%. I've marked on the map the site of grace that we'll be starting from, which is Agil Lake North, and where you can find the item. So follow along for the direct path, or, as always, just explore until you find it. Perfect. We have our foot. Now, let's get on the path to Caelid and meet the Rune Pinata. The third church of Marika is our destination, and I've marked it out on this map. Don't forget, if you encounter a high-level enemy in the next zone, you can always escape on Torrent. Or maybe you have what it takes to tackle such a high-level beast. It's up to you. Once you've reached the church, snag the Site of Grace, and then head northeast to the the Waygate. You'll zone in to our next destination. Welcome to Caelid. Now, don't forget to open those doors behind you and grab the Site of Grace that's in there. I've blurred it out because it could be a spoiler. But you will want that Site of Grace, in case something detrimental happens. This map shows our next destination, the Farum Great Bridge. You know the drill. Follow me or explore at your own risk. Once you're here, grab the Site of Grace. This is one of the farming spots that will help your character get the levels and stats needed to use the weapon that you've chosen. Our target are the little Vulgar militiamen here at the Farum Great Bridge. Now these fellas do pack a wallop, but they can also easily be staggered, so even if you see them casting, if you're close, just keep hitting them. And they drop plenty of runes, especially if you're just starting out. But maybe you're not comfortable fighting these little screechers, then let's go to farming spot number 2, located here on the map. So the beauty of this farm is that it doesn't require you to kill anything. All you have to do is get to Lenne's Rise and avoid giant boulders. Once you've activated the Site of Grace, run down this hill and wait for the boulder to spawn. Once it does, quickly move to the right so it falls off the cliff, and watch the rune count soar. Quick side note, the boulders must roll off of the edge so you get the full 1700 runes. If they don't fall off of the edge, maybe they hit a tree or something, you'll only get about 20 runes. That being said, it's time to farm for a little bit so you can use your weapons. I'll see y'all at the Great Farum Bridge when you're finished. Now that you're here, it's time for the last great stretch. It's time to head to Fort Faroth. As always, feel free to follow along or to find the path yourself. Now that we're here, it's time to grab that Site of Grace and kill ourselves the sleeping dragon Grail. And don't worry, you shouldn't feel guilty. This poor dragon's already dying of scarlet rot, it can't fly, its protectors are half dead. So really, the nicest thing we can do is to equip our bleed weapons and start eviscerating. Now this might take some time to chip away at this sleeping dragon's health. He's got a lot. So if you get bored, leave a comment below about how killing a defenseless dragon was worth it in the end. Oh, and don't forget this important step. When the monster's health gets to a low percentage, about here, use your golden pickled foul foot to maximize your payload. It lasts for 3 minutes, so don't stress too much over when to use it, but don't forget to use it. And now the payoff. Nice job. It's time to start making those builds. And just like this video, I'll be making spoiler-free videos for some of my favorite builds. Let me know if there's any you'd like to see. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.